Hey everybody, it's your boy Captain Hunter coming at you again. Thank you so much for checking out the show. I really, really appreciate it. I'm trying to get this microphone here to be on straight. Thank you so much for checking out the show, the podcast, the program. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Make sure that you do me a favor, hit that rate, subscribe, and share button. Hit that rate, subscribe, and share button. So for today, we are going to jump into it here. And I think that a lot of times, in this space where we're trying to do male improvement, unfortunately, there's always you get more clicks, views, and likes if you bash women. And this may come off as a little snarky towards the originator of this particular content, but it's not really aimed at him. I think he's just kind of going where the flow is. You got to go where the money is, right? You got to do what you're going to do as far as where the money is. But as you can see from the title here, it says Black American women are losing their men to YT, which would be white, Asian, Hispanic, and Indian women because of this. Now, I'm trying to improve men, but I clicked on it. I'm trying to click on it. I'm trying to improve men, and I did click on it. Guilty as charged, right? The headlines get you. Let's just be honest. The headlines get you. So I'm not going to resort to making this type of content. But I think that when bad advice is given, I think we got to have a good counterbalance to that. Now, I'm a little bit older than a lot of these people. A lot of these people who are in the dating scene are probably 45 and under. I'm assuming that this guy is in his 30s, and the people on the panel are probably in their mid to early 30s, as we'll check out. So again, this is just me trying to make the best content that I can in order to improve the lives of men. And in this space, we are trying to, there is a stream of people who are saying that women need to be fit, feminine, and friendly. They need to be cooperative, submissive, and learn how to cook and clean, do all the things that traditional women or women did in traditional back in the days. They want to bring back those days. And there's more content in YouTubers making content, women making content saying they want that life again, that they feel tricked by feminism. They feel tricked by this new wave. Whatever floats your boat. But I'm trying to make men the best versions of themselves. And if you're the best version of yourself, then you don't have to go around begging and pleading and getting people to do whatever. My grandmother told me learn how to cook and clean. And so, in case you ever meet someone who doesn't know how to do it or won't do it. So I took that advice, and therefore I think I'm a pretty good chef today. We can have an argument about that, me and my daughter, but regardless. So anyway, so this brother on here makes content. He's reacting to another video in which women are complaining about men these days. And I don't agree with his assessment of men. So let's get into it, and we'll check it out.
This been going on from the days of Ricky Lake, Montel Williams, Oprah. I mean, you name it. Sally. A lot of you may not remember Sally, but Sally. Every time the conversation of relationship comes up, it's always what man has to do to please the woman. Majority of the time. Once in a while, they may talk about, okay, what women need to do, but majority of the time, it's always men got to do this. Men are not fulfilling their duties. Men are not fulfilling their responsibilities. Men are not doing this. Men are not pleasing women. When are we ever going to talk about what women are not doing in relationships? And the few times you do have brothers like Kevin Samuels, may he rest in peace, that talks about what men want. Women hated him for it. Every time a man comes out and say, yo, ladies, this is what men want, and this is what y'all need to do to please men, he becomes enemy number one.
Okay, so that conversation is being had about what men want. It is being had. We're having that conversation now. We're going to have it right now, and you're having it. So this conversation, let's not be hyperbolic and pretend as if this conversation is not occurring, because it certainly is. And I agree that it's about time.
As dealing with today's topic, I watched the show 8 at the Table. I'm a huge fan. Before I started my YouTube channel, I was a huge fan. Well, I'm still a huge fan, okay? And in today's episode, we are going to take a listen with this conversation. Again, talking about what men's responsibilities are when it comes to women. Let's get to it.
Men's responsibilities when it comes to women. You have a responsibility. You want to be in a relationship? You have a responsibility. You want to be a protector, provider? That's a responsibility. You have a responsibility. You have a responsibility.
I feel like a good father is just being there. I think just be present. Be there, teach, provide, whatever you have. Like my father didn't have much, but he was in my life the whole time. Being a good father is not about money. It's about love, protection, direction, teaching. And I feel like that's why I got so much.
Being a good father is about love, protection, direction, guidance. That's what she's saying. Be there. Just be in the life. That's what she's saying that men ought to do. I don't disagree with that at all.
Principle and so much loyalty. It's for my father. I'm loyal to the T.
Women get the appraisal for being a good mom, being a single mom, and all these things, but a good father doesn't get any credit. The responsibility for a father is so hard, and it's so much of a tangible and intangible responsibility.
What it sounds like to me is that the onus is on a man to make sure he creates a child with a good woman, with someone who is going to have a loving home, who's going to be nurturing to that child, who's not going to be on some bullshit, who's not going to wreak havoc in the household.
I feel like that's goes both ways, because there's a lot of men who have
We're talking about men.
I know that, but I feel like that's a general.
Okay, so in this space, we don't like it when they deflect. If we're talking about women, let's stay on women. Let's hold them accountable. This conversation is about men. Hold you accountable. Let's do what you got to do, right? Don't deflect. Don't get sidetracked. Don't go down another rabbit hole. Let's stick to the conversation, right? Let's talk about what men need to do. And the previous lady who spoke said, "This is what men do, and this is why, or how I turned out the way that I turned out." I don't know how father would feel about the color of her hair, but hey, whatever.
Statement. If we speak on a general statement, then you have to take in consideration of the counterparty, and women need to make sure that they have children with good men.
But have you guys noticed something? What they're talking about is fathers from the 40s, 50s, and 60s that are now in their 60s, someone in their 70s, someone in their 80s. See, in those days, those guys were your average men. They went to work. Some were carpenters, some were mechanics, some were electricians, some were plumbers. See, they went to work, and some worked at the factory. They went to work, put in 8 hours, came home, and took care of the house. See, women from those days, that was good, that was cool. But in today's society, what they're not talking about, in today's society, women don't want those kind of men, you see?
I'm not disagreeing with you so far. Again, think of the context of what the narrative that is being set up here. You want this type of woman, right? They were that type of man. They were that type of man who went to work for 8 hours, carpenters, plumbers, electricians, garbage men, particularly for black people, right? The worst of the worst of the different types of labor that were available came home and still protected, provider, and still did their duty. That was their duty because that was their role. That's what they signed up for. I agree that there's not always the women today, as he's about to elaborate on, don't always really want that.
Women do not want your average man, the guy that's making 40K, 50K, 60K, 70K. Women of today, modern women like them that are talking, they wouldn't want a regular guy like that. They would prefer the 666. I mean, you all know what I mean. Anyway, let's keep going.
The men today, they're not as handy as, for an example, my father. Like, my dad is a roofer. He's always had hard jobs, hard work. But that's my personal. That's my personal.
Smart, not versus hard.
But that's because now I feel like, yeah, you can call someone to put up whatever. But that to me, it's like, so I don't know why it's so attractive, and it makes me feel so happy to see, like, my dad still doing that for my mom.
A man's job is to get it done, right?
Right.
I did it, or I called the handyman. I got it done.
I
so
guess
why am I less of a man?
Maybe that's like, no, I don't think it's less of a man. I'm saying it's the men are different today. Yes.
I disagree. It's less of a man. I'm sorry. I went on a date with a guy, and he was like, "Yeah, I wanted to get my TV put up. I had to call this guy, and he canceled on me." And I was like, "You can't put up your TV."
That's what I'm saying.
So this is, and I absolutely 100% agree with these ladies. I absolutely 100% agree with these ladies. My daughter moved into her apartment. I'm putting up I hung her TV on the wall. I'm hanging shades. I hung her blinds. right? And I tease her. I'm like, you need to get you a man, right? Because I'm doing it as your father, but that's my job. That's my role. That's what I signed up for, right? So what are we talking about here? So let me get this straight. So now these same men want to be able to cook, want to say they want a woman who can cook, clean, sew, be the traditional woman that she used to be. But now when she wants a traditional man who knows how to hang a TV on a wall, who knows how to change oil, who can go up on the roof and change a shingle or two or whatever. I'm not talking about doing crazy stuff, right? Doing electrical work and burning your house down. If you don't know what you're doing, you don't know what you're doing. But let me give the men out here a little bit of advice. There's this thing out there. It's called YouTube, right? YouTube, where you can learn how to do some things. And any type of plumbing type of thing, as long as it doesn't involve welding, I try to do it myself in my own house. Anything that I've changed some lights and some dimmers and swaps out some stuff like that, right? You turn the power off, you get in there, you get it done, turn the power back on, and hopefully it doesn't spark up, right? You get it done. You watch some videos, you read some books, you go to Home Depot, you ask some questions, right? That's what you do. That's what you do. And if you don't want her outsourcing her stuff, whatever your arrangement is, you don't want her outsourcing that, then you step up and you don't outsource that stuff either. Otherwise, stop complaining about what type of women aren't in comparison to their forebears, if you aren't what men were in their forebears.
Me, I had a job where I had to take down and put up pipes, okay? I basically could do plumbing work. So if a man comes to me talking about he can't put up a TV.
For you 19% of women that watch my content, do you see how she feels it's a turn off? The man is less than just because he can put up his own television. Now, imagine me saying a woman ain't no woman if she can't cook and clean.
We are saying that. That's what this whole space is saying. This whole manosphere space, this whole MGTOW space, this whole passport bro space, this whole is all saying that the women are not what you wanted from before. They're not like your mothers and grandmothers. That's what the whole space is saying. And now when she says that you have a problem with it, if it's good for the goose, it's got to be good for the gander. Look, we can have whatever. This is what I'm trying to tell men to improve. Stop attacking the ladies for what they are or are not doing. Stop that. Look at yourself first. Learn how to hang a TV. Do some sheetrocking work. Like, this stuff is not going to kill you. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about? I'm not telling you to go if you're scared of heights, don't want to go up on a roof, right? But if you want a house, if you want to own a house, you want to become a home owner, you want to do some things, you cannot and should not be calling people all the time. I had a conversation with a friend of mine the other day talking about, let's start flipping houses. I'm like, in order to first start making a profit and start flipping houses and stuff, you got to learn how to do that stuff yourself. I'm 50 years old. I don't want to be doing that. Right? If I'm in my 30s, okay, I'll do it. Listen, I retired from law enforcement. I did that. I help people move. I did all that stuff. And whatever I can do, I do. Right? I do it for my own house and all that kind of stuff. But there's other stuff. You're going to flip house. You're going to give all your profit away. You start hiring people to do all this stuff. You got to do it yourself. But that's my mentality. So I'm not getting off on that. But my point is that you got to be able to do things for yourself. Stop calling somebody for this and for that. Check the oil for yourself. There's a video that I just watched today about a brother who's given lessons about how men should be able to check their not only their tire pressure, but to learn how to check their brakes and stuff. And he's asking them questions. You know what I'm saying? They're all saying yes, sir. That's respect. That's what we ought to do. Listen, those of us who know how to do it should teach the young men. And I'm trying. And this philosophy that this brother has, and usually I generally agree with what he's saying. I generally agree with Brother Easy is saying. But this is not it, man. This is not it. And if you're gonna say this, then stop asking for a traditional woman. Stop it. Stop asking for a traditional woman.
Women always expect men to be 100%. He got to provide. He got to pay the bills. He got to protect. He got to do this. He got to be good in bed. He got to please me. He got to cater to me. They never say as a woman what their roles are. And when a man comes out and say, yo, I'm not gonna rock with you because you don't cook and clean. Oh, he toxic masculinity. Oh yeah, he's controlling. Do you see what I'm saying?
No, I don't see what you're saying. You should be 100% of the time. You got to be the best version of yourself all the time. You're not going to please everybody all the time. You might try to clean up the house a little bit. You might not be able to do it as good as her. You might try to cook and clean. You might not be able to do it as good as her. You might not. Okay, maybe you're not tall enough. Maybe your other things aren't up to par. Whatever. If that's not the type of person that's for you, that's not the type of person that's for you. But on the other hand, be the best version of yourself. Work on the skills that you can work on. And if you want somebody to work on their skills, their cooking and cleaning, and their nurturing skills and their femininity skills and their lack of, then you have to bring that. I hate to sound like the ladies when they're saying this, but you have to bring that out. If she wants to rest in her femininity and do more feminine things, not saying she should be lazy, but if she wants to do the feminine things, the nurturing things around the house, then at least you can do is hang the TV, man. What are we talking about? That is your job is to protect, provide. So protect the home, provide in the house, and let her be the nurturing one in the house. That's what this whole space is about. That's what this whole space, Passport Bros, Manosphere, MGTOW, SYSBM, this whole space is about improving men. It's talking about exactly this type of thing. And here you are going to make a video talking about I can't please her because I can't hang a TV. Is this for real?
Sister just right here just said a man is less than a man because he cannot put up the TV screen. Not all men are handy. Like me, I don't know nothing about cars. So if a woman is with me and the car breaks down, we are fucked because I don't know nothing about cars. Does that make me less of a man? Even though I can pick up the phone and call AAA or pick up the phone and call a mechanic. Hey, yo, this happened to my car. Come tow it to the shop. Does that make me less of a man if I pick
I don't know. I can't believe that guy doesn't see the irony in that. And I'm not saying, listen, listen, a lot of us don't know a lot of things about a lot of things. I don't know that much about cars either, right? But I know when the check engine light comes on, I know to take care of it. I know how to change the oil. I know how to, well, at least how to check the oil, right? I know how to do a little bit of those types of things, right? The basic mechanics and routines, right? So you take it there and all that kind of stuff. But don't, if you don't want to be put down for your lack of knowledge about certain manly things, a protection type of thing, then don't put her down about things that she don't know how to do, right? You want her to work with you about what things you can do, then work with her about, she's not a good cook. Okay, you're going to take some lessons. We're going to go to cooking class together. We're going to get this thing down because I don't want to be eating out all the time because it's bad for our health. Right? And at the same time, you can watch some YouTube videos about what's going on with your car and have a conversation about what's going on with your car. Right? So be the best version of yourself that you can. I'm not saying you got to listen. I watched a video one time. This brother was saying, just going through the list of things that women want from men, right? And some of it was outrageous, right? Because there is truth to the idea that some of these things take a lot of time and attention, right? You can't have a man. A woman cannot realistically have a man who is knows how to build things as in carpenter, right? Be an expert carpenter and still have a PhD and then still knows how to fix his car. You can't be a jack of all trades to know all that type of stuff. So if you're willing to sacrifice going to get a PhD, or if you're willing to sacrifice your time to become the best carpenter, then you can't expect a man to be well read and know about Dostoevsky and all these other individuals, right? You can't expect him to, because there's only so many hours in a day. And the same thing, if you want a woman who's educated and all this kind of stuff, then the things that you want, then she might not have the domestic skills. And if you want a woman who's more towards the domestic skills, then then other skills may be lacking in other places. That's the whole argument. That's the whole argument.
Pick up the phone, call someone to go pick up my car or my truck on the highway because it broke down. But to her, because I don't know how to fix my car, I'm less of a man. Do you see how insane that sounds, ladies and gentlemen?
Actually, I don't see how insane that sounds. I think that sounds like a woman who wants to know that her man can protect and provide. That's what she wants. She wants to see it, right? We might think that we have evolved past a certain point because we can pick up a phone, but that doesn't override primal instincts that says, I want to see that my man knows how to fight. I want to see that my man knows how to stand up for me. And when I get in trouble, that he is the one who's going to protect me and provide for me. And that he is the one who's going to change my oil, fix my car, look under the hood and do what he's going to. It doesn't take that away from that. No matter how enlightened we become as a society, it doesn't mean that a woman that a man doesn't want to look over and see his wife tearing stuff up in the kitchen. She might have a doctorate, she might be a lawyer, but there's nothing sexier than a woman who's getting down in the kitchen. If you can understand that principle, then you can understand the principle that these young ladies are saying. I'm not saying you got to go out there and do and be the best mechanic on the planet, but know some basics. And for God's sake, please learn how to hang a TV, hang some blinds, change a light bulb, change the batteries in your smoke detector. Gracious, this is what they're complaining about, and you make videos agreeing with that, and a space that is dedicated to improving men. And that's what makes me question: are we really trying to improve men, or are we really just about bashing the ladies?
Hey, yo, this happened in my car. Come tow it to the shop. Does that make me less of a man if I pick up the phone, call someone to come pick up my car or my truck on the highway because it broke down? But to her, because I don't know how to fix my car, I'm less of a man. Do you see how insane that sounds, ladies and gentlemen? Do y'all see that? But these are the same women that will have a good man that will provide for her, love her, protect her, take care of her. Just because this man is not handy, I don't want him. He doesn't know how to put up a flat screen. Did you see that? And then you ladies wonder why the good men are going outside. Why the good men are looking at white women. Why the good men are looking at Asian women. Why the good men are looking at Hispanic women. Do you understand what
They don't want that either. What are you talking about? Listen, they don't want that. They don't want that either. They want the same things. They want the same. Listen, you cannot get around the fact that women want alpha men. You cannot get around that fact that women want an alpha man on their arm. They want to feel protected and provided for by the man that is that they have given their lives to and committed their love, their care to. I put myself in your hands.
I'm saying? Let's keep going.
If I'm a boss and I'm running all these different types of businesses, and maybe I'm not super successful, but maybe I'm making 6 figures a year running my businesses, and I never spend the time to learn how to be a handyman, now I'm less of a man. But if I'm a person who has a lot of time doing handyman things and something breaks around the house and I can fix it, but I only make $60,000 a year, I'm too broke to be with a high value woman. So it's so unfair when we talk about the responsibilities of a man and then we put it into
what he could do.
Yeah, like what he could versus what he does. My thing is, if a man gets the job done, he gets the job done. I don't care how you have to do it. If I have to run 10 companies and now that 10 companies allows me to pay for somebody to put the TV on the wall, just be happy you got a brand new flat screen TV on the wall.
Man, shut up.
It's not going to override their primal urges for a man who can do it themselves. It's not going to override that. We got to be honest with ourselves. We got to be honest with ourselves, right? And if you're running 10 companies, then more than likely you're too busy, right? You're too busy. You're too busy. Somebody sent me a video the other day. I'm not going to do a reaction to it, but they sent me a video the other day talking about the 5 things that women wish that men knew, or something like that. 5 things that men need to know about women. And the number one thing was they want your time more than they want your money. If you're running 10 companies and not taking care of that thing, then that's a problem, right? I think that we got to figure that out too. You got to be able to figure that out, right? If you're going to commit to a woman to build a relationship, then you have to commit to the woman to build a relationship. If you're going to commit to build a family, you have to commit to build a family. And once you start building a family, that family has to come first. Not your job, not your friends, not your video games. Your family has to come first. That means you have to sacrifice your gym time, your me time, your boys time, all that type of stuff. Your family, your children, your wife, your whatever she's called has to come first. And that's what I think that people just don't understand. So this place, so this was I guess this guy's name is Rico. This was a good attempt to say, listen, I'm doing other things and be happy with that. But you got to understand, you're not going to override the primal urges. And just like no matter how much of a boss a woman is, and no matter how much whatever else is going on, your primal urges about what you want as a nurturing, feminine, fit, friendly woman who's cooperative and submissive, with all the other stuff that is said in this atmosphere, all that other stuff, you have to be able to say to yourself that there's trade-offs to all this. So you might be running 10 companies, you might be out there and making things happen and making moves. That does not take away from the primal urge that she wants somebody who's going to protect and provide for her, and know that that man can get it done. Not that you're going to call somebody, not that, you got to deal with it. You got to deal with that. So yeah, I think that you should. I think you got to be a well-rounded person, man. I think body, mind, soul, education. You got to be the well-rounded person, right? Maybe you can't be 100% You should not be 100% academic. You got to make time for your physical well-being, right? Go to the gym, take some martial arts, lift some weights, go for a run. Take care of your mentality, your spirituality, whatever you want to call it, right? Take time to meditate, to think, to reflect, to do some self-reflection about, where you're at, how you're going, where's your life, where's your inner peace, right? Take some time to meditate, right? And then of course take some time to play. Go horseback riding or do dirt biking or whatever it is. You can't be in the gym all the time. You shouldn't be in the books education wise all the time. You shouldn't be playing all the time. You got to learn to round out your whole body, mind, soul, whatever that is. That may be different for your philosophical and religious or spirituality beliefs, but just be a person you got to give yourself a break all the time. You can't always be in the books. You can't always be on the video game. You can't always be dirt biking. You can't always be in the jujitsu. You can't always do that. Take time to calm down, relax, and do other things. And he's right to the point that if you can't do all these things at all times, but you still can. You can find time to do some little things. If you buy a home, that is an investment that you have to take and to put your blood, sweat, and tears in. And you should not just have to call somebody all the time. Like listen, this is a new generation. They just believe in just throwing money away and just hiring somebody. And then you can't figure out why the women are not attracted to that. She's telling you that she's not attracted to that. It's not getting her engine going. It's not getting her going. That's it. I'm really going to stop this time. I stopped before and I started again. I'm not going on anymore. You got to get her engine going. You don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear that. Let me know your thoughts or opinions.